Friends, it's great to be here, and I want to start by paying tribute to someone who all her working life has sought to serve the people of Scotland. First as a teacher, then as a member of the Scottish Parliament. Now as our Labour leader in Scotland, Joanne Lamont, thank you for the service you are providing. You know the reality because you're out on the doorsteps. Living standards squeezed for the majority, with runaway rewards at the top. People struggling to pay their bills as they come through the door, the gas bill, the electricity bill. And also, a younger generation who feel their hopes and dreams are being betrayed. Nothing strains a family like a mother or father who cannot find work. You know and I know that nothing scars a community like a lost generation of young people, and that's what we're facing. And nothing wastes the talents of a country like hundreds of thousands of Scots who have the will to work, the desire to work, but cannot find work. And despite what Alex Salmond said, over the last year, unemployment's gone up by more in Scotland than it has in England. On the most recent figures, 1 out of every 3 jobs lost in the United Kingdom has been lost here in Scotland, and 1 in 5 young people in Scotland are looking for work. And you know, I had the opportunity recently to go to the Co-op distribution plant at Newhouse. And I talked to a man there, and he said to me, look, I said to my kids, go to school, work hard, you'll find work. And now they've left school and they can't find work. They and 13,000 other young people from Scotland, unemployed for more than 6 months. Think of the tragedy that is. Now, we know one reason for that. It's a Tory government in London, cutting too far and too fast. But friends, it's also about SNP in action. Because while Alex Salmond's been coming to England to brag about how he can create a progressive beacon here in Scotland, he's forgot what's actually happening now on his watch. George Osborne handed him a cut of 11% in the job-creating capital investment, the money that goes into roads and rail and schools and hospitals. What did Alex Salmond do? He cut the budget by double that, 20%. You know better than I that he's cut £1 in every 5 out of the college budget for training young people. So instead of complaining about what the Tory-led government is doing, Alex Salmond should be taking action to put those young people back to work. And friends, that's what a Labour government would be doing. We'd be taxing the bankers' bonuses, and we'd be using that money to put 100,000 young people back to work. Labour would never stand by when young people don't have hope. We would get Scotland working again. It's true, you know, on youth unemployment. And it's true on every issue when it comes to creating an economy that can work for all the working people of Scotland. My argument is that the challenges are so great in this time. The issues are so fundamental. The crisis is so profound. It's got to be your single overriding priority to tackle those challenges. And that's the reason for the difference between the SNP and Labour. Joanne and I came into politics to make Britain fairer. Alex Salmond came into politics to change Britain's borders. Now, part of the challenge we face, that the next Labour government will face, is that we must nurture, we must celebrate, and we must support those businesses that train our young people with apprenticeships for the next generation. And so I say, as an example of that, one of the first acts of the next Labour government will be to say, if you want a major government contract, forget about it unless you provide apprenticeships for the next generation. And what about the SNP's policy on industry? Well, I suggest that we talk to the workers at the DL Steelworks. You know the story. 38 miles down the road from the new Forth Road Bridge. But the steel for that bridge not being made in Scotland, but being made in China. You can't be a progressive beacon if you sell Scotland's workers short. And that's what's happening under this SNP government. Rupert Murdoch. I think all of us have been shocked by what we've heard from the Leveson inquiry this week about corporate corruption on an unprecedented scale. And those of us like me who believe in a free press understand that News International have sullied the character by their behaviour over the last few years, sullied the character and reputation of British journalism. And what's Alex Salmond been saying about this? Has he been saying News International must clean up its act? Has he been saying they must behave far better and they must get to the bottom of wrongdoing? Has he been speaking up for the Leveson inquiry? No. As Joanne so brilliantly exposed yesterday, he's just been cultivating his relationship with Rupert Murdoch, his Twitter friend, his follow Friday, his son on Sunday. I say this, friends, if you want to be a progressive beacon, it means speaking truth to power. Alex Salmond, you've comprehensively failed that test on phone hacking and News International. So here's the case, friends, on jobs, on the new economy, on vested interests, on living standards, on tax. The SNP aren't the progressive voice. And because of their commitment to separatism, they're not the progressive force either. What are they actually going to say to that man I met in Newhouse who's worried about his son or daughter getting a job? What are they going to say to the man running the wind turbine factory who says, I need a loan from the bank? What are they going to say to the poor pensioner struggling to heat their home? Putting up a new border across the A1 and M74, that's not going to help the man worried about his kids getting a job. It's not going to help them. New taxes to fund new embassies, that's not going to help the man needing a grant or a loan for his wind turbine business. And new passports to travel from Scotland to the rest of the United Kingdom is not going to help the poor pensioner either. The SNP answer: separation, division, isolation, pushing up new borders. That's not going to create an economy that works for working people. You see, the bank in your high street is the same as the bank in my high street. We should have stronger rules together to reform our banks, not weaker rules apart. Equality, responsibility, justice, community. The values that brought me into this party. The values that brought all of us into politics. The values that must drive the renewal of Scottish Labour. The values that will help us win back trust here in Scotland, win back trust in the United Kingdom. The values that will drive us on to victory at the next general election. The values that will enable us to transform our country. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.